Let's talk about Fatima. But forget what you think you know. This isn't just a story about a religious vision. This is a real-life mystery, like a divine cold case. It's got a secret message from the heavens, a very specific deadline for its release, and a secret so explosive the Vatican allegedly kept it buried for more than 40 years. So what was in that message? And why the big delay? Let's dive in. All right, so the year is 1917. The place is Fatima, Portugal. Three young shepherd kids, Lucia, Jacinta, and Francisco, start reporting a series of incredible apparitions of the Virgin Mary. Now, these weren't just silent visions. She came with a message, a really, really important secret message meant for the entire world. So this message, which became known as the Great Secret, actually came in 3 parts. But here's the kicker. Our Lady gave a very clear, very firm instruction for that third, final part. She said it had to be opened and revealed to the world in 1960. The oldest of the children, Sister Lucia, even said that by then, the message would appear more clear. Well, 1960 came and went. The world held its breath, but the Vatican said nothing. That secret stayed under lock and key for another 4 decades until it was finally released in the year 2000. And that 40-year silence, that's the real heart of the mystery. What on earth was in that message that was so shocking it had to be suppressed for so long? So what did the Vatican finally show the world? In 2000, after years and years of speculation, the man who would later become Pope Benedict XVI, Cardinal Ratzinger at the time, stepped forward to present the official text. Now, to really get the third part, you need a little context on the first 2. Part 1 was a straight-up, terrifying vision of hell. No metaphors, just hell. Part 2 was the solution, a call for devotion to the Immaculate Heart of Mary to save souls from that very fate. But Part 3, the one that kept hidden, it was another vision, this time of a mysterious bishop in white. And this vision, well, it's pretty grim. The text describes a harrowing scene. The children see this figure, who they assume is the Pope, struggling up a mountain toward a big cross. And when he gets to the top, he kneels down and is just riddled with bullets and arrows by a group of soldiers. And he's not alone. Countless bishops, priests, and ordinary people are killed with him. So what was the Vatican's official take on all this? They concluded that the vision was a prophecy about the persecution of Christians in the 20th century, and that it all culminated in the 1981 assassination attempt on Pope John Paul II. I mean, his own personal secretary said it flat out, that the Pope saw that vision and recognized his own destiny in it. So there you have it. The Vatican's position was crystal clear. The prophecy was fulfilled. It was about a past event. The message has no bearing on the future. The case is officially closed. But was it? For a whole lot of people, the Vatican's explanation didn't close the case at all. In fact, for them, it blew the doors wide open. It created more questions than answers and kicked off all these theories of a massive cover-up. Okay, so let's put on our detective hats for a second and just look at the evidence. Because for decades before that 2000 release, we had all these little clues, these breadcrumbs from high-ranking church officials that painted a very, very different picture of what the Third Secret actually was. And it all kind of starts with this one little sentence, written by Sister Lucia herself in her memoirs. It's supposed to be the end of the second secret, but it closes with this really strange etc. Now, critics are adamant that this is not just a stylistic choice. They believe this is the opening line of the real Third Secret, a text that contains the actual words of Our Lady, not just a description of something she saw. And this is where the inconsistencies really start to pile up. The official document is 62 lines on 4 pages, but multiple people who actually read the secret, like Cardinal Ottaviani, described it as a single sheet of paper with about 25 lines. The official version is a vision, but many sources always called it a letter. And get this, there's even evidence of 2 separate documents kept in 2 different places, one in the Holy Office archives and another, more sensitive one, in the Pope's personal apartment safe. And the plot just keeps getting thicker. We have testimony of 2 completely different envelopes. Then you've got a Bishop Venancio who actually handled the original document in 1957. He held the envelope up to a light and saw, you guessed it, a single sheet of paper inside. And maybe the biggest smoking gun, when Pope John XXIII's secretary, Archbishop Capovilla, was asked point-blank if there were 2 different texts. His response was a simple and stunning confirmation. Exactly so. So, this begs the million-dollar question.
If there really is a second text, a letter from Our Lady on a single sheet of paper, what could it possibly say? What could be so terrifying that multiple popes would risk defying a command from heaven to release it?
Believe it or not, we might have gotten a peek at the answer way back in 1963. A German newspaper published what it claimed was the gist of the Third Secret. The story was that the Vatican had quietly sent it to world leaders, hoping to scare them away from nuclear war. And here's the alleged bombshell. This missing text isn't about an enemy outside the church attacking from without. It warns of a spiritual catastrophe, a great apostasy happening within the church itself. We're talking about a civil war at the highest levels of the hierarchy. This alternate version goes even further. It describes a massive crisis of faith, with Satan reaching the very top of the church. But it also speaks of a huge physical punishment for the world, a great war, fire falling from the sky, oceans turning to vapor, and cataclysms that would cause millions and millions to die by the hour. This is apocalyptic stuff, and it sounds nothing like the symbolic vision released in 2000. But, maybe the most damning evidence against the official story comes from Pope John Paul II himself. In 1980, 20 years before the official release, he was speaking about the secret. And he mentioned a message that warned that oceans will flood whole areas of the earth and millions of people will perish. Now tell me, where are those words in the official 2000 vision? They're not there. But they sound an awful lot like that text that was leaked in 1963. So this leaves us at a major crossroads. We have two totally competing stories, two completely different secrets, and each one points to a vastly different conclusion about what Fatima means for us and for our future. On one hand, you have the Vatican's official position. The secret is a symbolic vision about past events. Its mission is over. It belongs to the past. On the other hand, you have the critics' position. The real secret is a direct warning from Our Lady about a crisis of faith and a coming punishment for the world. And that warning is still being deliberately concealed from us. And just when you think you have to pick a side, you get this bombshell. It's a quote from Pope Benedict XVI, speaking in Fatima in 2010. Now remember, as Cardinal Ratzinger, he was the guy who delivered the whole case closed version in 2000. But here he is, 10 years later, saying, we would be mistaken to think that Fatima's prophetic mission is complete. He's literally saying the exact opposite of the official line. I mean, that statement from Pope Benedict himself just blows the entire controversy wide open all over again. And it forces us to ask the final question. Is the official story the whole story? Was the message of Fatima really all about an assassination attempt in 1981? Or is its most dire warning about a crisis of faith and a world in peril still unfolding right now before our very eyes?